And I want to ask you about some news that dropped yesterday. Texas House Democrats, over 51 of them were told, have left the state to deny quorum on a vote that would change the state's congressional maps. What was your reaction to the move by Texas House Democrats?
Well, I've been here long enough. I've seen it happen several times. It's never worked in the past, and it's not likely to work this time. I certainly understand the way they feel about it. They're using the only tool they've got left, and that is quorum break to slow things down. But it doesn't work. It will buy them a few weeks or a few months, but most likely, I certainly don't know what the governor's going to do, but most likely he will just keep calling it back and back and back until, and eventually people want you to stay and fight. They don't want you to run. Texas has always been up to a fight, and you can't fight if you leave. You got to come back.
You mentioned you're unsure what the governor's going to do if he'll call additional sessions, but yesterday he said that if lawmakers do not show up by today at 3, he will move to remove them from office. What do you think of that?
Well, that's pretty bold, but we got a bold governor, so I think that's fine for him to say that. I'm not a constitutional lawyer, but you have three branches of government: executive, legislative, and judicial. And I'm not sure one branch can go and remove pieces of the other without some type of due process. I
Do
would
you?
think might be a path to do that, but I don't think you can just wave a wand to do that.
So you don't think the governor will be able to just remove lawmakers from office?
Let me clarify that. I am not a constitutional attorney. I'm an engineer. That's law. That's different from what I'm used to. I'm used to physics and math. So I'll leave that one up to the lawyers.
When you look at these new maps, of course, projected to add 5 Republican-leaning seats, do you support? Would you vote on this? Do you support this proposal?
If it comes across as I saw the maps, I would vote yes. Absolutely.
Why?
I'm most particularly concerned about East Texas, and I like the maps better the way they were drawn for East Texas. I think it gets people with like communities with similar representation, and I think that's part of the purpose.
The new proposed maps, not the current.
Yes, right. I think they're better for East Texas.
There have been concern that the maps have been gerrymandered. There's been some criticism on that. What would you say to those concerns?
When you're talking about gerrymandering, I know they keep throwing out, is this a racially drawn map? Everything I've heard from every member is race has never been taken into consideration at all, that it's been redrawn based on political lines more. And that, as I understand it, that's okay. But I certainly listen to the other side as well. And I know they're concerned, but I would encourage them to come back and get involved in the fight, because long term it doesn't work.
Now, you do mention, long term, you don't feel as though breaking quorum works. Then why do you feel as though, Texas House Democrats are doing this? What message do you feel they're trying to send?
It's I would say frustration. They're trying to publicly bring attention to what they consider a flawed process, and that's their right. It's you need to fight for what you believe in, and so they've got you talking about it, that you would not have been talking about it otherwise. It brings it to everybody's attention. So they've accomplished that. What they haven't accomplished is stopping the process temporarily. Yes. Long term, no. This has never worked. Whether you go back just a few years or you go back 20 years, it just has not worked in the past.
One last thing I want to ask you about this. Of course, there's been talk about, redistricting mid-decade. That's been one of the big concerns here. Do you feel the state should be able to redistrict mid-decade? Why or why not?
The states can redistrict at any time they chose to, is my understanding. I know you're required to every 10 years to rebalance the population. So that is a requirement, and that's a requirement as by the Supreme Court to try to balance out the population. They used to not do that. Most people are not aware. They used to not do that. So we had some people representing a few 100,000 while somebody else was representing 1 million people. And the Supreme Court said, hey, under the one man, one vote, everybody needs to have equal representation.
What impact you feel, breaking quorum is going to have on other legislation, whether it be regarding the Hill Country floods, groundwater, or just various other types of legislation?
Well, it certainly will muck it up. It will delay it till the next special session. I just don't know when he will call that, if he will call that, but my guess is I think he probably would.